The Word docs acknowledge that we are meeting today on the lands of the Kaurna people, and we recognise elders past and present. These lands have never been ceded.
Why don't you write when you don't need money, honey? That would certainly make a hit.
Welcome to Word Docs. I am Dr. Sean Williams, and I am here with Alex Vickery Howe.
Hello.
And Amy T. Mathews.
Hello.
Both of whom are also doctors, and that makes us the Word Docs. It has been a while. That's the first thing we'll say up front. What's gotten in the way of us making Word Docs? That's the theme of this episode.
It's like waking up from a coma, isn't it?
It is a bit, isn't it? It's like from Austin Powers. It's like you climb out.
I suppose the theme of the episode is the obstacles and the opportunities that get in the way. And I was thinking of a friend of mine was saying the other day that every time you come up with a new story, you're putting another one on hiatus for at least 6 months, perhaps even a year. And that the curse of a writer is too many stories or too many ideas. That's hell. And I think that's a kind of interesting thought, because I do feel like the year just gone has been a bit like that, where new opportunities have leapfrogged over other things that were on the list. Excuse me while I sneeze.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's hard, bless you. It's hard to know.
Sorry.
Bless you again.
Oh, we're pros, aren't we? We haven't lost any of our polish.
We'll get on to all the health problems soon. Bless you again. What's he allergic to?
Us.
You got a cat.
Something's dusty. It's coming out of the coma and I'm just covered in dust. It's not attractive.
Yeah, well, it's hard to even know what we were working on last time we spoke, I have to admit. It's been a while. I mean, we speak, obviously. We actually text each other about 100 times a day. In fact, my phone goes, vibrates, and the kids are like, that'll be Sean or Alex.
Yes, my wife does that too. Yeah.
What's up now?
And it's not like we haven't recorded episodes either. So we actually have a little bank of episodes that we've recorded and haven't released. So there is still Word Docs action happening behind closed doors. That sounded wrong, but you know what I mean. It's just that we haven't got anything out into the world on that front. But we have got other things out.
Oh, we've got so many things. Let's start with Sean, because the man is like a machine. How many things have you created in the past? Since we last spoke, I think how many albums?
I've had 3 out this year.
3, and then you wrote an entire novel.
I wrote an entire novel, but I only published 1 short story. I had a couple of collections come out, small collections. One was a reprint collection of essays. I think we've talked about that here. Maybe in one of the recordings that didn't make it.
Maybe.
Rings a bell.
You'll all catch up to this eventually.
Yeah, that's right. And one a collection of flash fiction, which just came out.
Which is By My Bed.
Ah, how romantic.
Close to my heart.
But I don't think I'm exceptional in the sense of creating things. I know you've both been madly working like mad. How many books have you written this year, Alex and Amy? Combined. Much more than me.
704. No. The interesting thing of like you. I mean, I feel like I've written a lot of articles this year, and I've redrafted 2 novels, and I'm doing the play for Australian Theatre for Young People in Sydney, which is just destroying my brain, because yesterday we had a 2-hour dramaturgical meeting. It's a sci-fi play, and you've got to get your head around the mythology of that. And every time you pull a thread, you go, well, okay, how does that work? You know.
Oh, the joys of world building, because you've done heaps of this, Sean, haven't you? Like every thread has to be anchored to something.
That's right.
Oh, and it has to make, as soon as like, so at the moment we're dealing with this entity that it's quite horrible, that so a bunch of young teenagers go into the woods, and they go to this valley, and the valley, the rumor of the valley, the thing that you keep hearing is they bleed dry. That's the scary sort of thing, they bleed dry. And what it actually means is it evaporates your blood, so it comes out of your body like smoke as you die.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it's not a metaphor for the university system.
No.
At all.
How do you do that in a play? How do you
Well, what we're going to try and do is get some teenagers as silhouettes, and they're going to have red powder in their hands and just kind of blow it sort of up as they collapse.
That's cool.
So it's the logistics of that kind of thing, but also working out, how and why and all of that. And so it's been lots of fun. But when you're working on multiple projects that have world building or complicated mythologies, you very quickly go nuts. Like just trying to keep track of all these things.
Do you keep Bibles? Like, do you start Bibles for each work?
I know you're supposed to. Everyone says you're supposed to. I keep notes but I don't do proper. No, I just kind of do weird dot point things.
Yeah.
Me too.
The Bible, in a way, I don't know. I don't know if
or a wiki. A wiki
yeah.
is the modern version of the Bible.
Because I find if you do too much of that, I feel like I've written the thing. That's why if I do too many outlines, I think you've got to do a certain amount of outlines. But
do you keep lists? Because I keep lists of things. Like, these are the trees you would find in this mountain range.
Yeah.
This is the average temperature. Or
yes. Yeah, and lists of rules and how things work. But you always, like, one of the things we ran into yesterday is they go down to the valley and all the kids are saying, gee, it's really pretty down here. And the dramaturg was like, well, no, it's not, because you mentioned earlier how it's all decayed and horrible. So these inconsistencies pop up. But I think it's good to have a balance between academic work, which is quite structured, and then going to that crazy fantasy place. I think that's kept me sane across this year. What about you, Amy? We've been very busy.
Yeah, heaps. I feel like the academic articles I need to amp up a bit more. I do have started collaborating more, just because I've had so many books right on the go that I have not had the capacity to do more than drafts. I've got all these, they're actually sitting around my desk right now, like half-written drafts or first drafts, but I am in a post-humanities reading group and we started co-authoring some stuff. I haven't had a huge impact there, but then I'm in another group and we're working on climate change fiction, and that's been fun collaborating. They're both really kind of dedicated, intelligent, hardworking people. And so I find that that's quite a happy collaboration. I'm enjoying that. And then I've got some unfinished articles, but the books it's been a lot of work. So since when we started recording Word docs, I think I was in the process of selling the Westerns under Amy Barry and writing a book under my name. And now I'm in the process of selling the book under my name, which I've written. And I've written the first book of the Western, edited it, had it accepted, and written the outline for the second book. And I've got to write the second book now. So I've kind of been switching between this kind of contemporary, it's called book club fiction, which is like quality, I don't know. I mean, book club fiction. It's like Where the Crawdads Sing, or it's not a rom-com. It's not kind of that mainstream. It's a little bit, I don't know how you describe it. Book club fiction. You all know what it is.
Well, my mum's in a book club, and it's a mystery to me because I don't live with my parents, but often I'll be down there, and my father and I are not allowed to attend book club.
I can understand.
We're also not.
I'm not sure I'd want your father in my book club either.
We're also not allowed to be on the property. We have to go. We have to go away for a few hours.
They're going to talk about you. They're talking about you. This is like book club.
You're getting drunk and talking about the men in the yards.
And I kind of eavesdropped on one, and it's very serious. Like, book club is not it's not quite Fight Club, but it's serious. Mum's piano teacher's very serious.
Yeah, I think people have very serious intellectual discussions about
Mum she likes to get cheat notes from me. She asks me what I think of a book, and then she takes notes to try and I don't know, one up her whoever her rival is on the book club.
I have zero interest in being in a book club, but I think that's because we teach. It's like a tutorial. But I do know a bunch of academics we work with who are in book clubs. Doesn't sound fun to me.
I'm in the Flinders University Gothic book club, and I really like that because I've been exposed to all sorts of Gothic texts that I hadn't read before, and it's full of really interesting people.
Do you wear hoods? And do you?
Oh, yeah.
They did have a movie screening night a while ago.
We had a movie screening night, but only me and Eric Parasot turned up.
Was that all?
Yeah, we had mountains of snacks. Eric had just won his teaching award, so he was a little bit tipsy. And I thought, well, we could stay here and eat all our snacks watching a scary movie, which was Midsommar. Great film. Or he could go home to his family. I'd already seen it twice. I could go home to my family, so we decided.
Oh, you did.
But normally we get lots of people coming along, and it's great and lively discussion about grim, dark things. It's great.
I guess a theory reading group isn't too different, is it? I guess I'm they're kind of
They're kind of. So what is it?
Yeah.
So when you say something is a book club book,
yeah.
what is it that makes?
I think it's relatively high concept, like
Okay.
issue books, but kind of. I mean, I don't know because I don't know how normal I am, but my book is like
Neither do I.
a high concept hook about family relationships. I'm just going to pretend that didn't happen. About family relationships, and the writing is probably a little bit more literary.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, although I don't know anymore what my writing is. I do too many different kinds of it.
Do you consciously adjust? I mean, obviously there's an adjustment between academia and fiction, but do you consciously go, okay, I am in Amy Barry mode, or I'm in Tesla Sue mode, and therefore I will not. There are certain, certain rhythms, certain patterns, certain word choices that I will now avoid.
Swearing.
Yeah, I mean, I think yes. Because, I mean, the historicals are easier because you're adopting a more historical voice. And then I think I was deliberately trying to get back to a kind of more literary voice with the Amy T. Mathews books, like sort of concentrating on the poetics a little bit more. But then it was a hard balance because I can't do too much of that as well because I'm still aiming for a commercial market. So not getting too lost in the language, whereas I think literary fiction is very much about enjoying every sentence. So I needed to keep the pace up as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been really interesting talking to editors about it and about people's reactions to it. I've really loved that. So now also been doing, I think I must have written like 20 or 30 pitches this year for different books.
Oh,
Right.
that's so exhausting, isn't
so
it?
many pitches. I did them originally for Westerns and then these. I've just got so many ideas. So it's just about where to go next, I think. So I'm looking forward to working with an editor to work out which book next.
Alex talked about the curse of writers before, having so many ideas. It's a bit like having books, Every now and again it's good to have a cull and get rid of some of those books / ideas. But it's nice to know that you can produce so many pitches. I mean, writing pitches is hard work, but it's great to know that you have so many ideas that you could pull out of the hat if somebody says, hey, give me the right one and I'll give you lots of money.
We do this topic, which we did for the first time in 2021, for first year called Ideas, Imitation Originality, where we kind of try and talk to them about ideation and, because that's the first question we all get asked is where did you get your ideas from? And I really think it's a generative process. The more you do, the more you do. You never, it's just a muscle. I think advertising people know this because they have to come up with ideas on the spot, right? That if you sit and really brainstorm and push yourself, you'll be amazed how many ideas you can come up with.
Do you ever have, and this is a question for both of you, do you ever have, you do a bunch of pitches and, certain amount are just sort of rejected or discarded. Do you ever kind of cling to some and just think, oh, that one I will do,
Yep.
Yeah. I'll go to my grave touching that idea that I said I would always do one
right
day.
on your headstone. It was a good idea.
Well, I was in a meeting recently and I had an idea a while ago that I keep coming back to, and I've pitched it here in Australia and to my agent and other people, and they're always like, I don't know, it sounds a little depressing. And then I was in a meeting with an editor and she was like, I'm thinking about something along these lines, about this age bracket. And I was like, hey, I've got an idea.
Yeah.
But that happened to me with the Western. The first Western was like, no one was publishing Westerns. No one wanted a Western. And I was in a pitch with a publisher and I pitched the book I had and she was like, nah, I don't want that. And she's like, you wouldn't have a Western, would you? Westerns are taking off. It's like, well, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, often I think it's timing. I think an idea that didn't have any interest. Actually, Watchlist was like this. I pitched Watchlist years ago. No one wanted to know about it. And then, that was this year that happened, wasn't it? So, this year feels very long.
Before hibernation.
Damn them. But suddenly everyone was into, those themes suddenly were urgent.
Daily life.
Were life, yeah, which and I just really slipped it in before it all happened. But years earlier, no one cared. No one wanted to know. It's funny. And then, I think sometimes it's just the right person, the right day. So how do you know then when to let something go or when to go, you know what, that's something that one day I'm going to circle back.
I think it's...
Sorry, I'll let Sean go first.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, isn't it? It's a matter of what you feel most passionate about combined with what our accrued experience tells us about the market and what really important people like agents and informed friends might tell you about the market. It's this weird melange, I think, that's kind of hard to define. Were you going to say something similar to that, Amy, or something completely different?
It's along those lines, I think. But the one thing I think I've learnt is flexibility, that actually rigidity is not your friend ever in life.
No.
And that you want to be just really flexible. But, it's really interesting because I had a conversation last week with a writer friend. We went out for a drink and we're just polar opposites in terms of, and this is why we always say on the show there's no one way to do it. And the three of us are actually quite similar in lots of ways. So you're getting one kind of perspective because I think, if you've listened to the show, we're big believers in the non-romantic of sitting down and doing the work.
Yes.
And I'm probably more romantic than Sean, but even so, we're pretty workmanlike about it. But we were talking because she's the opposite to me, and I was saying I just want to write. Like I've got the skill set, and I've got no desire to cling to like this romantic idea of this is an idea I'm passionate about and not doing anything else and just being unpublished. Like I've said before on the show, I could be an unpublished writer really easily. Like, that's fine. Like, I've done that. But she was kind of saying she couldn't do that. She couldn't just write whatever came along. And I heard Maisie Yates, the romance writer, talk once. She's a bestseller, and someone asked her, don't you feel like you're selling out when they give you an idea and you write it? And she said, no, because they give me this kind of parameter and then I pour my heart into it.
Yes.
And it's this idea of, I just think a little flexibility goes a long way of being open-minded. My agent said that to me actually last week about, when I do it anyway, but it's just her standard advice of when an editor gives you some feedback, don't kick back about it. Like just open your mind and try it on for size and think, what if they were right? What would happen? And so I think when you get these opportunities, I know you've both had them. And ever since I've known you, you've both had them, where someone says, would you be interested in doing this? Or like with the Decameron Alex, would you be interested in doing 10 monologues weekly? And you kind of go, yeah, I'll give it a go.
In my defence, I hadn't picked up that it was 10. But
you're going to pay attention to what the offer actually is.
Since we've spoken to you as well, the Decameron won an award.
It did.
The series Alex was in won an award.
It did. And I had shingles and a concussion and was just feeling sorry for myself on the couch. So it was nice to get text saying, meanwhile, back on planet Earth, things are going all right. But, I think sometimes you're handed something and you go, okay, how do I turn this into something that will hit that target, but also still be something that gets me excited in the morning and gets me up with a cup of coffee to write something. I was commissioned to write a play on bullying and violence years ago, a long time ago now. And the director and I got together and went, okay, well, there's a very kind of community theatre issue-based version of this, or let's play with metaphors and fantasy and go, well, how do we teach young people, against violence? So we did a whole kind of video game universe where violence has no meaning, and a real-life human being gets sucked into that world and has to explain that actually actions do have consequences. So, and some critics said very clever, and others went, "Oh, is that really the remit?" But I think we did it. We turned the expectation into something that excited not only us but also the cast of like 30 or 40 young people we had who didn't want to do a kind of community thing about violence being bad. They really didn't want to do that. So we found a way to hit the target and still write, something really exciting and engaging. So I think that can be the balancing act sometimes. And
so I think one thing that's interesting when I think about the three of us, and I think maybe your music is different, Sean, is that when we talk about writing, we're really talking about readerly writing, like audience-focused writing.
My music is definitely not audience.
Your music is more your really experimental art for yourself, right? That's where you're pleasing yourself. And I think it's worth pointing that out, that I think we tend to focus when we talk about writing on audience-focused writing.
Yeah, and different modes too. I think sometimes if you're lucky enough to be in a position where you can do both, then so much the better. But I always think, who am I communicating with and how do I get under their skin? Sorry, I interrupted you, Sean.
Oh, no, that's okay. No, I was just going to say I think it's really important to have something that you're working on that is entirely for you, and you can go, this isn't for the audience. If there is an audience for it, that's great. This is what's keeping my soul alive, which is not to say that commercial work can't also do that. I've written Star Wars novels that I'm 100% behind and love. But at the same time, weird haikus or weird music and stuff is just purely for me. It's something that I do for love. I'd like to return to the theme of this podcast.
What was that again?
And touch on something. Yeah, Amy mentioned the new topic, one of the new topics she taught this year, which was ideas, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is one of the things that has kept us away from Word docs this year.
Oh, man, has it ever.
Would you like to explain, Amy?
Yeah, I think we mentioned many moons ago that we basically revamped the entire creative writing curriculum. So Sean, our colleague, Dr. Lisa Bennett, and Alex has helped us out a bit, even though he's discipline lead in drama and is like a drama donkey.
Yeah, the drama donkey.
We basically rewrote the entire curriculum, so 9 topics, so 3 topics each, and everything really from scratch. So all new readings, all new assessments, all new lectures, all new content, all new everything. And our numbers were really healthy. We had really big student numbers. So we were so busy all year, and then we've all got a lot of postgrads and honours students as well. Yeah. So it's been it was a landslide of teaching, which I think we knew it was going to be busy, but I don't think we were, given that we also doing plays and music and short stories and novels. I think it just buried us.
Obviously, we hoped it would be successful. We didn't know just how successful those first-year topics were going to be. Lisa and Amy ran the 2 first-year topics, and they were immense.
Yeah. And shout out to Lisa for doing probably the most creative writing topic I've ever seen.
So, I guess one of the founding things with this podcast was really talking about balancing those 2 parts of ourselves. How do you...
We didn't balance them at all, I don't think.
Well,
I don't think there was any
not this
balance.
Year.
That's right. And it's interesting then because this we're certainly not here yet, but, there is always that lurking feeling of how useful can you be as a teacher if you start losing your own creative practice. So there's that horrible thing of, okay, I've got to do all this teaching, I've got to redo the creative writing curriculum. We're about to do it again with drama. That's an ongoing thing. That's, sucking up so much of our brain space and our soul space.
And creativity. It's a very creative process.
So then it's like, how do you get back? And before you know it, you've got a concussion and you've got shingles.
Alex has really suffered this year.
And then you go, okay, I've got to get back to what it is that I really do so that I can be a better teacher besides anything else. Because
I think also it's one reason, I think this is the absolute backbone and what makes Flinders so special in the creative arts is that you come to a creative arts school and you're working with people who are doing this at the highest level. They're coming to creative writing classes and working with me and Sean and Lisa as we're publishing internationally and as Sean's up for the New South Wales Premier's Prize and as Lisa and Sean are up for Aurealis Awards and as we're getting contracts. And so it's this thing of you're actually coming and working with people who are doing it. And so you don't want to lose that at all, I think. It's really important.
No. Yeah, absolutely. I think that balancing act is very tricky. And it feels like this year, what's kept us away from Word docs, I feel like this year was perhaps less balanced than last year, I think.
I think we had the COVID lockdown last time, though.
Oh, that's true.
So I feel like
that's true.
This podcast kept us going during the lockdowns and during COVID. We used to do it once a week, all day, and it was like our social moment of the week.
Yeah, that is true.
I feel like it's been very well balanced this year, but only in the sense that each side of the scale has had the same amount on it, but there's been so much on each side that the arm of the scale has snapped into and has collapsed under the weight of everything.
tired.
I think that's true.
We're so
Yeah.
tired.
Yeah.
And Word docs was just one of those things that sort of fit in the middle between our creative and teaching practice that just got squeezed out a little bit because it's a timely process and time-consuming process, and it just, I don't know, when you've got editors screaming at you and students emailing you and executives wanting more from you, it just got squeezed out, unfortunately.
But you give them chicken pox. That's how you get them back.
Yeah, that's right. Also, because universities are like so streamlined now. That's the polite way to put it, right?
Yes.
They're streamlined.
Yeah.
So the staff is often down to pure skeleton staff. So we're all doing all these admin roles and tasks that maybe you weren't doing a few years ago.
I think that's true. But I think that the benefit of something like this, why do we keep coming back here, is I actually think that reflection and sharing is really important between writers or between, anyone doing anything, because it allows you to kind of keep track of what you're doing, where you are. I don't know if I've said it before on this show, but I keep a one-sentence diary. Only one sentence. That's as much as I can commit to every day, and have been doing it for 2 years, just to keep track of every day and go, okay, what are you doing? Where are you at?
Shingles.
Still here. Shingles.
Smash my head on the stairwell. This is peak
I think
life.
when you look back at this year, though, you've had a lot of great things happen to you this year.
Well, you go back and read it and you go, oh, yeah, okay, Mum's fighting with her sister again. Okay, you go through it again and you clock things and you go, okay, what sometimes can feel like inertia, actually there are things just moving forward.
Yeah.
But that's what I think is really valuable about this show and this process as well.
I tried.
I think also, sorry, Sean, you go first. I keep cutting you off.
Well, I was just going to say that I kept a one sentence a day diary for about 3 months, thinking exactly the same thing. It'd be great to look back on what's been going on in my life. But I would hit the end of the day and I'd think, how do I capture it in one sentence? Because good things happen, bad things happen. I'm tired. I'm in bed. So
Every day.
Every night I'm tired.
Say,
I'm in bed.
No, I would write that every day just to buoy my spirit. So I actually stopped doing it. It wasn't right for me, but I love that you're still doing it. And I think that's a really valuable resource.
I sort of choose the memory that sticks out, the event or the memory that sticks out. This is the day when X happened. And there's usually one or two big things.
That's all right, Amy, over to you. Your turn now.
I guess say a couple of things. One was that the other benefit of it as well, I think, is it reminds us as a group how great creative writing is, no matter which discipline you're sitting in, because Alex is in drama, but that we actually are a really synergetic group and there's so much cool stuff happening. Because creative writing is a very quiet discipline, right? You've got drama putting on shows and films sending out show reels and, historians out on the field and archaeologists have boats. And we are so quiet. Sorry, I'm waving to my son. He's leaving to go to Dungeons and Dragons and he just stuck his head in.
Awesome.
He's just waving.
Oh, I wish I was going to D&D. What a great way to spend the
School
day.
holidays. I think we mostly sit at home on our computers and we're a little bit invisible. People don't see what we're doing or how much we're doing. And I think the value of this, and also for students and listeners, is to rip that curtain aside and say, what is actually going on? What are these people doing every day rather than just sitting home quietly?
Yeah, absolutely.
And sometimes people say, pull the curtains back. We don't want to see it. It's too horrible. Alex, put some pants
I knew
on.
you were going to say put some pants on. For anyone listening, I do wear pants.
And the other thing I was going to say is that I think
Mostly.
because the book industry is a very, as an entertainment industry, is a very private one, right? It's a one-on-one relationship you're having with the reader, whether it's audiobook or print book or ebook. It's very much you and the book, whereas, it's harder to see than a big show or a whatever. And so I was saying to these guys before that the one thing I keep hearing over and over from writers, prospective writers, is, but the book's dead. No one's reading the book. And it's just not true.
No.
I think you've heard me say before that during 2020, the book trade went up. I think it was 22%. And then this year, so far, the data's saying another 8%. So it's 30% in 2 years. And it was already booming. I mean, books outsell all other media. Like, it's the number one form of entertainment, really. Like, people never get enough of books. And millennials are increasingly reading books. Like, the younger age groups, the market share is growing and growing and growing.
Yeah.
So I think the pessimism about the book is just completely wrong. And I think you need podcasts like this with people researching the area to actually say that out loud in public.
Yeah.
To say, actually, this is a booming art form.
So what's coming up for you guys in the future? I mean, speaking optimistically, we're working in a booming art form. Alex is working in theatre. Who knows what's happening in theatre? But he has novels on the way.
Yeah, I think I've got to get my head around, blowing up these kids in the valley.
So you're doing the Uncanny Valley.
The Uncanny Valley. I think that's the main thing at the moment. A few books that are out there, but after that meeting yesterday, I'm like, okay, I've got to knuckle down and really work through that in the short term.
That's the one for Australian Theatre for Young People?
Yeah, and it's just bizarre. I may turn it into a YA novel yet. I think there's enough cut material now that I could certainly do that. But
and that would be performed in Sydney?
They'll be performed in Sydney. We're not sure whether it's 2023 or 2024 because it's going to be a full-length musical, and so there's a lot to do, and that's going to involve lots of me being up with the nocturnal musicians who I love, but you've got to have coffee all day, drive up to the hills at like 6, have dinner and go, okay, I'm in till like 4. Okay.
Wow.
I can't do that anymore.
Rock and roll lifestyle.
Quite literally.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Amy.
And Amy, you've got contracts coming out of your ears.
I'll have announcements I can make next time we talk. But I've got sitting on secret business right now.
Business.
That would
It's
be
very
so exciting to tell you about soon.
Now, is it secret Amy Mathews business or is it secret Amy Barry business?
I can't tell you, but it's
I'm
very
so
cool,
excited.
and I'm very excited about it. But in terms of Amy Barry, first book is out. It's called Kit McBride Gets a Wife, and it's out August 2022, and it is already up for pre-order if anyone would like to go out and pre-order it. It's a really fun comedy, romantic comedy, historical, and it's just a really, really fun book. And then I've got to write the sequel, which will be out in August 2023. And then it looks like Amy Mathews, I will announce details soon, will have a book out in 2023 as well. And then hopefully another one in 2024.
I like how you are you're a couple of very busy authors in one human.
Pretty much. The goal is, I don't know how I'm going to manage it working our current job, but 2 books a year is the plan.
Yeah, wow, Amy and Amy.
Yeah, and so I've got to finish some articles too at some point. At least they're both Amy now.
Yeah.
I can answer to the same name.
That makes it
helps.
easier. Sean?
Well, Honour Among Ghosts, the book I delivered last month, is coming out the same month as Amy's. And I was just thinking what a great example this is of the different schedule between the US and Australia. I mean, I know mine's happening in a rush, but I just delivered it last month and it's coming out in August. You delivered your book ages ago.
Oh, no, yes, I did. I delivered it in March, April.
Yeah.
But then I only just did the edits. They only just went in on Friday.
So I'll be doing the edits in January. And that's very, very fast for Australia. So that'll be out. We should have a joint launch. I think that would be great.
We should have a party in August.
Yes, with very different iconography. That'll be kind of cool.
And cowboys.
Ghosts and
it's
cowboys.
going to be perfect.
That's right. And I've got a couple of albums coming out next year, and I'm really keen on poaching Alex's girlfriend, not romantically but professionally, to write a non-fiction book with her. Alex is pulling her face because he wants me to work on the book that he and I are supposed to be working on.
He's jealous
next
already.
year.
Look at him.
I know. It's like it's all kinds of jealousy in one, Sean. It's like he wants to work with my girlfriend, but also I want to work with him. So who am I jealous of?
That's right. And I've got an AI project up and running too. We're going to try and create an artificial Sean Williams to write a novel set in the structured universe that we're playing with here at the university.
Oh, and you're making the short film as well.
We're making a short film. That's right. There's a whole bunch of wonderful things happening with the wonderful people we work with at Flinders. All very collaborative, all very fun. And we'll start to see some of those outcomes next year, I hope.
Fun.
And when I say next year, I'm not sure what year I mean when I say next year.
Sean was the one who said, don't say next year. You suggested, should we float it here? Sean suggested maybe one future direction for this, because you're probably sick to death of hearing us talk about us now. We've had a year or more of that. Is that maybe we turn this into a proper Word docs where you can write to the Word docs with your word problems.
Yes.
Or your medical problems.
No.
Or maybe don't do that. I don't want to hear about shingles anymore.
No. So over it.
But maybe you could write in, people could write in with their issues and we could talk them through.
The doctors will be in.
Could be anything from submitting to, point of view problems to anything.
I always have point of view problems. Oh.
No medical problems, Alex. We've told you once.
Or conflict. There could be conflict
Can
problems.
you identify this rash? No. But it'd be wonderful to have the opportunity to do some doctoring.
And I think that'll be a lot of fun. I hope we get lots of strange and unusual questions that we
could call that series, Is There a Doctor in the House?
Is there a doctor in the publishing house? Yes. Amy, you're a genius. We always knew that.
I'm shaking
Can
my
I
head.
put that on my book? Can I blurb that?
Yes.
Amy, you're a genius.
You're a genius, Sean Williams.
Which Amy, though?
Yeah, which one? Always the other one.
I've always wanted quotes on book jackets that just say things that are really informative, but have no emotion attached, like there were words on the page and they were listed.
This was a door stopper of a book.
Alex, what have you got after the ATYP?
I'm going to force you to do a novel with me, Sean, and
I'll have to check with Lisa to see if I'm free.
Oh, yes, indeed. I changed Lisa's list of priorities. She has a list of projects, and I just messed with it.
Mine with her is down the bottom now.
It is now in very small font. No, the other thing I've been doing is reading Nick Hornby novels, which I've become obsessed with. So I'm going to try and write a rom-com, but I don't think what happens when Alex writes a rom-com? That's the question.
Oh, God.
It'll get dark.
Oh,
There'll be
God.
something dark.
Don't kill the world, please.
Yeah.
We want a happy ever after, not hellishly ever after.
Yeah.
Alex, you and I have to write a paper with Lisa. That's another thing we've got coming up.
No, well, she's already started that. She's doing it now, I think. I'm just watching it. It's all happening now.
We're machines.
Well, she is. She's a machine.
What did I say before? We're firing all the cannons on the poop deck.
Yes.
Wrong kind of medical problem again.
It's not the best imagery ever.
But I think we have had 2021 was a pretty amazing year for us, and we may not have been on here telling you all about it, dear listeners, but we've been thinking of you and wishing that we could have done more, and hopefully the future will bring more of the docs in the house.
Yeah, let's hope. I would like to also suggest we do some series. I'd love to interview you guys about your joint project.
Ooh.
And maybe we could talk about my climate change project, and we could actually get into some research, start diving in.
I would like to campaign for a collaboration between Amy Mathews and Amy Barry. That's what I want to do.
They don't get along.
They don't get
No,
along.
they really don't.
No. Oh.
So how's everyone getting their energy back? What are you reading? What are you watching? How are you resting?
Midnight Mass.
Oh, Midnight Mass.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Oh, I want to watch that.
No, it's incredible.
So good. I finished for the second time the other night. It's so beautiful. But I've got a giant stack of books to read for 2 awards, so that'll be my reading over the break.
Fun. I just finished on my award reading. Yes.
Yeah, I was judging something as well. That can be quite exhausting.
Yeah, I've got a month off. I haven't had a month off in ages, and because I don't have any books due at the moment, I'm actually going to take it off, as you should with annual leave. So I'm going to read books. I'm going to hang out with the kids. I'm going to do nothing.
I'm going to be recuperating. I'm going to hide down Port Elliot for a while. I'm going to go for lots of walks. I'm going to read more. I'm going to spend more time with family and with
his
Vida.
girlfriend.
And the girlfriend who's not going to be riding with Sean. I think actually take a break is really good advice.
Could actually resurrect that series that you started, that Word Docs and Partners, where we get on our partners, and you made me do it, and then we never did it with anyone else's partner.
Yeah.
Since Sean thinks Amanda wouldn't want to do it, we should probably ask Lisa to come on.
Actually, I think Amanda would be great. I think we'd have to talk her into it. But,
Can we? Can we?
Yeah,
we talk
let's
about
do
Amanda and history and Lisa and all her projects.
And the ultimate version of that podcast is just the three of them and not us. We're not allowed to talk.
Ah,
They're the alternate Word docs, aren't they?
Yeah.
that's true. That's
three
true. They're all
doctorates.
docs.
They're all writers.
Oh my God, they are all Word docs. It's true.
And they might be better than the three of us. Oh, that's
I don't
heartbreaking.
know that you trust Jonathan with the microphone.
But on that note, on that existential crisis,
Yes, I'm looking forward to catching up with you two again in the very near future on Word docs and in person.
Yay.
And all the best to everybody.
And happy writing.
Happy writing, Alex and everyone.
Merry Christmas. Oh, no, I can't say that.
It's not Christmas anymore, Alex.
That's it, ruined. We have to record it all again.
Happy writing.
Why don't you write when you don't need money? All your notes sound alike too much. All of them starts with I love you, honey, but they end with the same old touch. Just for a change, send a nice loving letter and cut out that please remit. Why don't you write when you don't need money, honey? That would certainly make a hit.
This is Alex's clap.
Thank God you didn't have the clap,
Stop.
because that would have been a running joke forever.
Stop. It's too early in the morning for STDs.
Nice T-shirt, by the way.
This one.
I should get one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, you should get. I'd get T-shirts of all my album covers, and
Really?
this was a great one because this has got the list of bands on the back.
Oh, that's cool.
Isn't one of them one of mine? Glam Gong? It was in the acknowledgements.
But they're not on the back because they didn't sound metal enough. Yeah,
Oh my God. I didn't make the cut.
Did you make the cut?
Too soft.
this has Scrope Punch at the very top, so
Scrope punch.
Glam Gong cannot follow Scrope Punch. Sorry.
It really precedes Scrope punch, doesn't it? It's a warm-up act.
I love making up fake band names. There's one in Stupid Dead Boy. They're just called Horny, like it's horny with a...
Oh, that sounds like a girl's name if you like bad at naming children. Like Chardonnay.
Chardonnay.
HAUGHNEE Grav. That's how to be spelt. Grav.
Horny.
Oh, nay.